Alright, you know, every African woman is excited to do a white wedding with a man. My dear, if you're a girl, if you're a woman listening to me right now, I will tell you the truth to your face. There is nothing special or unique about a white wedding. White or British wedding is a sign that you are still suffering from mental colonialism and mental slavery. My argument is not that we should reject everything we adopted from the white people, but it is centered on the fact that there are some practices that ought to be rejected in order to encourage and value the culture of our ancestors and our own indigenous tradition. Before the Europeans invaded Africans and came in contact with our kings and ancestors during the mid-15th century, starting from 1400s to 1804, Africans had their own way of doing their wedding. We call it the African traditional or indigenous marriage. But after colonialism, we started organizing the British or white man's style of wedding. Marriage in the African context ought to be a situation where the parents of the man and the parents of the woman come together to formally confirm and traditionally bless the union of their children. Marriage is not something that must be taken to a church or bringing a pastor to bless. It is not compulsory to take your marriage to church, and it is not compulsory for a pastor to bless your marriage. Marriage is a wedding where only both the families of the children are involved and where the man fulfills the requirements that are expected from him by the girl's parents traditionally. The new form of wedding we adopted has shown that we cannot do without the colonial legacy of the white people. The European man twisted African marriage system with the fear that if you don't go to church to do your wedding, it won't be blessed by God, thereby undermining our traditional marriage. But the white man forgot that Africans have been practicing their own wedding style, and it has been going well successfully. For instance, before the white man came in contact with Africans, the issue of divorce and adultery was not known. African women were very loyal and submissive to their husbands, and the children were very obedient. But today, all these have all gone into extinction. Today, an African man will take his bride to church and do the white form of wedding, but after 2 to 3 weeks, a divorce paper is issued by either the man or the woman. Today, adultery has overtaken our marriage system, even after doing the almighty white wedding in church and receiving the almighty blessings from the so-called pastor. This shows that white wedding is not a guarantee for perfect and stable marriage. Now, to make matter worse, Africans are so pathetic, parochial and myopic that after they concluded their traditional marriage, they go ahead to spend so much money on a British traditional white wedding. Now, how is this reasonable and rational? Why didn't the white man also practice our own traditional marriage? Why must we waste money on a white or British wedding pattern after doing our own traditional marriage? Today, our ladies are so engrossed and obsessed with the British or white wedding that if you don't do it for them, the marriage will not be complete because they want to boast in front of their friends that they did a white wedding. The white wedding is a British form of traditional marriage, if you don't know, where the bride is expected to wear a white gown to express this action. Now, historically, the issue of wearing white wedding gown started when Mary, the Queen of Scots, wore a white wedding gown in the year 1559 when she married her first husband named Francis Dauphin of France. But originally, the tradition of a white wedding dress is commonly credited to Queen Victoria's choice to wear a white court dress at her wedding to Prince Albert in the year 1840. Children of the Sun, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel today at Ebenezer Heru. And if you are still asking for the book, The Untold History of the Black Race and the Fall of African Civilization, where you will see many things I teach, if you want a copy, send a message to me directly into my TikTok inbox. Peace, children of the sun.